You can't do this to me. Who do you think you are? Scooby Dooby Doo. Hey guys, it's Chris, and in today's video, I'm talking about Scooby Doo 2 Monsters Unleashed. Let's get into it. Scooby Doo 2 Monsters Unleashed is a sequel to Scooby Doo 2002. Monsters Unleashed was received with mixed reviews, essentially saying only young viewers will enjoy this outing, and the mystery aspect of the film being one of the weakest aspects of the film. The script's not as polished as the first film, and the only thing that was praised once again was Mattew Lillard as Shaggy. Even with all those complaints, I think Monsters Unleashed is a sequel that surpasses the original. The gang actually unmask a guy in a mask, not just a robot like in the first movie, where it's just Scrappy Doo and a robot. The gang works really well with each other, and in Monsters Unleashed, Shaggy and Scooby really get their time to shine and actually show the gang that they are part of the gang. And you know, they've been heroes all along. Even though Shaggy and Scooby were the real reason why most of the monsters came alive, well, that and the control panel's sick beat. The monsters in the film are a nice callback to past cartoon adaptations. The Tar Monster, the Black Knight Ghost, the Pterodactyl Ghost, the 10,000 Volt Ghost, Zombie, Captain Cutler, Miner 49er, the Cotton Candy Glob, and I completely forgot the Skeleton Men. In one of the cartoons, there was actually 3 Skeleton Men, but in the movie, there's just 2 of them. My favorite probably in the movie, probably being the 10,000 Volt Ghost. It's essentially like Scooby-Doo's version of Electro. And then like the Tar Monster, because he's essentially just made of tar, and you don't really have to explain that. Or the Pterodactyl Ghost. Fun fact, the Black Knight Ghost was the first mystery that Mystery Incorporated solved back in the original Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? So the first episode of Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? The Black Knight Ghost was the monster or the costume that they unmasked. The CGI for the monsters are not bad at all. And of course, Scooby-Doo's CGI just looks great. With the 2 live-action Scooby-Doo movies, I'm so glad that they made sure Scooby-Doo's CGI looked good. And Monsters Unleashed is no different. You know, his CGI looks good. Them being real monsters instead of costumes was unique, just like the same thing in Scooby Doo 2002. You know, they're not just guys or people in costumes. They're real monsters. They're real threats. They're not just costumes. The final confrontation concludes in the monster's lair to turn the monsters back into costumes. The Tar Monster shows up and traps the gang beside Scooby-Doo. Scooby-Doo backs up into a fire extinguisher and deals with the Tar Monster. Scooby-Doo grinds and slides, and he essentially freezes and shatters the Tar Monster's body. During this sequence, they're playing Scooby-Dooby-Doo, Where Are You? You know, literally the original theme song. It's just probably just a band covering it, but you know, they do play that song in the movie. He freezes the Tar Monster and shatters his body, and that buys him enough time to deal with the other monsters. He uses some string to deal with Miner 49er. He jumps on the Skeleton Men's head. The Pterodactyl Ghost flies into the Tar Monster's body. Fart joke. He's flying in, Scoob's in the air. Shaggy throws him the control panel. He's trying to grab it. Pterodactyl Ghost comes flying in, boom, right into the Tar Monster. Fart joke. Of course, a fart joke. If the first one had a fart joke, so they were like, man, this second one, it's got to have a fart joke. Scooby-Doo lands, and the masked figure says, "You can't do this to me. Who do you think you are? Scooby Dooby Doo." Scooby places the control panel, hits a button, and all the monsters are reversed back into costumes. And I just love that quote for this movie. Just Scooby-Doo just telling them, like, who do you think you are? Dude, I'm Scooby Dooby Doo. I love that every time. The gang unmasked the culprit, and it's Heather Jasper Howe, aka Dr. Jonathan Jacobo. What gave him away is that Velma finds a photo of him during the construction of the Coolsville Criminology Museum, and that's what gave him away. That was the biggest clue. Why would he have a picture of him by the museum during construction if he died from the prison fall, like if he died off the prison wall? So Velma found that photo at the shrine dedicated to him. Jonathan Jacobo and Ned are arrested. I would have gotten away with it too if it weren't for those meddling kids and their dumb dogs. He says the line from all of the cartoons, and it's like perfect, dude. Scrappy Doo was gonna say something like that at the end of the first movie, but he didn't, so I'm glad that they included it in this one. Like, oh my god, he said one of the famous lines. Like, that was nice. That was a nice callback. There's a dance sequence at the end, and then credits roll. Alright, that was me talking about Scooby Doo 2, Monsters Unleashed. And I'm actually really glad I get to talk about the 2 live-action Scooby Doo movies, because they get a lot of hate, but I think for cartoon adaptations, you know, they had some positive and some negatives, but I really think they're good adaptations. I'm Spider-ManChris, and I'll see you in the next one.